A gorgeous day in the Public Garden in Boston, and it's going to be a gorgeous evening at Fenway Park in Boston, as it is time for baseball. And Pix 11 presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the middle game of a three-game set from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees suffered a very tough loss yesterday by a score of 4-2. Kenny, they looked like they were in control, and then they suffered probably their toughest loss of the year.
Yeah, very true, Michael. The Yankees got off very well in the second inning. Alex Rodriguez is at the plate, and this one's over the Green Monster, deepest left center field, 691. Number of home runs he's hit, and a souvenir for a young fan. They were happy, but the Red Sox came back as Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 runs are going to score in the 7th. That would tie the game at 2. Tanaka not happy. And Betances wasn't happy with this pitch as well. This is the 8th inning. Big Poppy over the monster for a home run, and that was the difference in the game. Red Sox fans are happy. They win 4-2.
Yankees try to bounce back tonight. Here's the pitching matchup for the game. Rick Porcello from New Jersey, 4-0, 3.51. Michael Pineda for the Yankees, 1-2, a bloated 6.95 ERA. And David, last time out, the location was not there for Michael Pineda.
Yeah, Michael Pineda is kind of giving you an example of the difference between control and command. Control is not walking guys. Command is missing your spots in the strike zone. Right there, you see a prime example, trying to go down and away and missing over the heart of the plate. Once again, instead of missing out over the plate down, it's out over the plate in the middle. So those are the ones that get hit hard. Once again, another example, pay attention to the glove, running back towards the barrel, towards the hitter. Even though the pitch is down a little bit, it's the heart of the plate. The problem with Pineda is always about command, not control. He's not going to walk guys. It's always in the middle of the plate where he gets hurt.
Well, last night it was all about the aging veterans. 2 40-year-olds took center stage. We're moving closer to baseball here on Pix 11. Stick around. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. The latest lineup of cars and SUVs you'll find at your local Hyundai dealer aren't just new, they're better. By the new JetBlue card. By Land Rover, above and beyond. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By Raymore and Flanagan Furniture, furnishing your style. And by ChevyOffers.com. Red Sox right-hander Rick Porcello getting ready. When we get back, lineups, first pitch, baseball. Yankees Red Sox next on Pix 11.
I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Heartwarming story yesterday coming out after the game. It was shown on Kevin Millar's Twitter feed that prior to the game, David Ortiz and Millar sent a message to their little buddy Maverick, who has been battling for his life every day.
You know, Big Papi right here with my boy Kevin. We love you. So remember that. We love you, okay?
Cowboy up. We always on your side.
Always stay positive. Keep the faith. All right? You take care about it. And I'm going to hit a home run for you tonight. Remember that.
He's hitting a home run for you, Maverick.
For you.
Love you, buddy.
Bye.
Well, David Ortiz came through in a big way with a 2-run shot in the 8th inning, which wound up being the game winner. And Maverick was, of course, up and had this to say to David Ortiz.
Papi, you never let me down, and you're the best player ever in that Red Sox game. And I'm trying the hardest to get out there in Fenway Park and meet you. Bye.
Tom, great homer. We saw it.
Great homer. We saw it.
Guys, just a remarkable story. We obviously wish little Maverick well.
We certainly do. All our thoughts and prayers go out to Maverick. Just an incredible story, very moving as well. And I guess it takes some of the sting for Yankee fans off the home run by David Ortiz that made that little boy happy. Well, the Red Sox have taken the field. Rick Porcello's taking his warm-ups. We'll take a look at the Yankee starting line that'll face, brought to you by Land Rover Above and Beyond. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field will lead off, batting second and playing left, Brett Gardner. Carlos Beltran's in right field. He'll hit third. Cleaning up first baseman Mark Teixeira. Alex Rodriguez, the DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching, Brian McCann. Starlin Castro, the second baseman, bats seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Didi Gregorius. Chase Headley at third base is going to bat ninth. And on the mound for the Red Sox will be Rick Porcello, 4-0 with a 3.51 ERA, 19 hits in 25 2/3, 30 strikeouts in those innings with just 5 walks. And he's allowed 5 home runs. And let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Yes, and a modern record, that's referring to his incredible streak. Since 1900, he is the only pitcher in modern history to get 25 or more starts in his first 7 seasons before turning age 27. Pretty remarkable. He's been around that long. He's still very young. Also on an inning streak right now. He's pitched 6 innings in his last 12 consecutive starts. That's the longest active streak in the big leagues and his career high. And it's been a strikeout spike. He's not known as a strikeout pitcher, but this year his strikeout rate is more than double his career rate. Over 29% of all the hitters he faces, he's striking out right now. His career rate's only about 15%.
Well, there you have it. So we are ready for baseball here in Boston. Jacoby Ellsbury digs in. Porcello is ready. And let's do it here in Boston. First pitch is a strike, and we're underway. Crew chief Dan Iasonia is behind the plate. Alan Porter at first. John Tumpain, the second base umpire. Lance Barksdale is over third. Ellsbury was on base 3 times last night. He was 1 for 2 with 2 walks.
That strikeout rate might have begun to spike last year when he struck out 13 Yankees. He set a career high. And that was in a game that he actually lost.
Rick was born in Morristown, New Jersey, lives in Chester, New Jersey, went to Seton Hall Prep, so a local kid. First round draft pick for the Tigers in 2007, the 27th pick in the first round. And as David said, he got to the big leagues in a hurry. Foul back. And the count is full at 3-2.
Well, last night you mentioned the fact that Ellsbury was on base 3 times. Gardner behind him was on 5 times. And when that usually happens, the Yankees are going to win a ball game. You put those 2 guys on with their speed, but they would still only manage a couple of runs in the game.
Hit sharply to short, backhanded by Bogarts. And he gets Ellsbury 1 away. Let's take a look at the Red Sox defense, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, you've seen Bogarts at short. The second baseman is Pedroia. Shaw's at third. Ramirez at first. In the outfield, you've got Holt, Bradley Jr., and Betts left to right in the outfield. Christian Vasquez coming off Tommy John surgery. He's behind the plate, and Rick Porcello is on the mound. So here's Brett Gardner. Brett was 2 for 4 last night. Had a drag bunt for a single, and then an RBI single in the 5th. Count 1-0.
And with Gardner getting that bunt down last night, I'm looking at Travis Shaw to third base. But he's about even with the bag, but when the pitch is headed towards home plate, he is creeping in a few steps just to be moving in the right direction in case Gardner tries to lay one down the third baseline.
Count 1-2.
The beauty of that bunt last night, it was the old-fashioned drag bunt. Really hard bunt, kind of underutilized, where you take it with you. A drag bunt is where you pull the bunt, you drag it towards the second baseman, and if you can get it by the pitcher, it's very effective.
It was certainly effective against a left-handed pitcher who falls off towards the third baseline.
Soft ground ball to first. Ramirez takes it himself, and he beats Gardner to the bag for the second out.
Well, the keys to the game are brought to you by your Hyundai dealer. We take a look. Play a clean game. Joe Girardi's Yankees are not scoring very often in these last few ball games, and the fact is, when you're doing that, you can't make errors. You have to throw the ball to the right base. Pineda, follow the lead of Tanaka. Tanaka pitched well enough to win last night. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. Pineda has to follow suit, and you have to maximize your opportunities, something the Yankees did not do in last night's ball game.
Beltran pops one up left side, long run for Holt, and he'll make the play near the foul line for the final out of the inning. Porcello retires the Yankees in order. It's the Yankees nothing, and the Red Sox coming to bat. Porcello, now it's Pineda's turn against the Red Sox starting lineup, brought to you by the Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Go beyond utility. Good numbers for Mookie Betts leading off and playing right field against Michael Pineda. Batting second and playing second, Dustin Pedroia. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, will hit third, cleaning up the DH, David Ortiz. Hanley Ramirez at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing third base, Travis Shaw. Brock Holt is in left field, he'll bat seventh. Batting eighth, catching Christian Vasquez. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is the center fielder. He's going to bat ninth. The numbers on Pineda are not pretty. 1 and 2, 6.95. He has not had a good start to the season. 30 hits in 22 innings. He has struck out 27. He's walked 5, but the 7 home runs. Opponents hitting .316 against him. So let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer.
And yes, in his last start, it really was all or nothing. In fact, he's the first Yankee pitcher in history to give up at least 4 home runs in a start and at least 9 strikeouts. So the all or nothing. He had good stuff, but made a lot of mistakes. And that really comes down to commanding the strike zone. Difference between control and command. I know we talked about it in the pregame, but there really is a big difference. It's one thing not to walk hitters. It's another thing to command the strike zone, hit the corners, not leave your pitches up for home runs. I think a key for Pineda too, mix in the changeup usage. He's kind of been reduced to a 2-pitch pitcher, and he has a good changeup. Adding that as a weapon can really add sort of a mystery to his repertoire that could really help him.
All right, so Mookie Betts will start it off against Pineda. And there's a strike. Count 0-1. Betts was 0 for 4 last night. And you can hear the umpire say that ball was outside, so the count 1-1.
Be interesting to see if Pineda can concentrate on the glove of McCann. Not just throw the ball for the plate, throw the ball to the glove.
Fouled straight back. And into the booth adjacent to the Yankee radio booth where John and Susan sit.
Brian McCann will sit on the corners. I asked Joe Girardi in his pregame press conference. Catcher has to move around a bit. If he finds a pitcher's hit in the middle, he has to switch his body over a little bit more. And you can see his body was off the plate. The glove was to the corner on that last pitch to Mookie Betts. Present a bigger target.
So the count 3-2. And the pitch. Hammered foul. Look out.
One thing you notice here at Fenway Park is that they have extended the netting down to the dugout. But there's no netting down there. That was just a rocket, and you better be ready. But all the way down to the dugout now, those fans with the good seats behind home plate are protected. But down the line past the dugout, you better be ready.
Fly ball, right center. Beltran's there, and he'll put it away for the first out. Take a look at the Yankees defense, brought to you by M&T Bank. Understanding what's important. Well, we've seen Beltran in right will start there. Ellsbury's in center. Gardner is over in left. In the infield, it's Headley, Gregorius, Castro, and Teixeira. That's third to first. Brian McCann's behind the plate. Michael Pineda is on the mound. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia 0 for 4 last night. Takes a pitch inside 1-0.
Yeah, still off to a good start though this year. He's got 10 multi-hit games. That is the lifeblood of a 300 hitter. Multi-hit games.
Got that fastball by him. 1-1. On base percentage of .368 for Pedroia. He's faced Pineda 10 times. Gotten 3 hits, driven in 1 run.
Red Sox second baseman leads the American League in hits with 32. The last few years, a lot of injuries for Pedroia. Hamstrings last year. Hand problems the year before.
Popped up. Castro puts that away for the second out. Tonight's high-speed pitch comes from Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better with Time Warner Cable. That pitch was 94 miles an hour. So two-way, and that'll bring up Xander Bogaerts. Hitting .292. He's faced Pineda 13 times, has 4 hits. Driven in 1 run.
We talked about this Red Sox offense last night. Although they were shut down for quite a bit of the game. They rallied to win it, but they are leading the league in runs and in batting average. And when you're leading in runs and scoring as much as the Red Sox, it covers up other mistakes. Your pitching doesn't have to be as solid every single night. You make a few errors in the field, you score runs to cover them up.
Count 1-2.
Those are the luxuries the Yankees do not have at this moment. But it's a long season.
Inside.
2-2.
I like that pitch right there.
Yeah, already you could see a change in the dynamic of pitching inside more. McCann setting up way inside, just missing the inside corner. Several pitches inside off the plate already in this first inning.
And the reason why I liked it from a pitching standpoint, he made Bogaerts move off the plate. So not just standing in one spot, just waiting for the pitches to come to him and he can hit them. If you make hitters move around a bit, you know, he tried to come back with a slider over the outside corner. He missed. And now let's run the count to 3-2. Let's see what he does here, but still try and stay out of the middle of the plate.
And he walked him. It's time now for tonight's Power Report, furnished by Bob's. Everything's better with a Bob-O-Pedic. Find out why at mybobs.com. Most home runs against the Yankees. All time, it's Jimmy Fox with 70. Ted Williams 62. Manny Ramirez 55. Hank Greenberg 53. Yaz 52. And David Ortiz did his 48th last night. And that was the difference in the game. And that's not just Red Sox most home runs against the Yankees, but there's a lot of Red Sox on that list.
Of course, Hank Greenberg a great with the Detroit Tigers.
And Ramirez had a lot of those homers with the Red Sox and also the Indians.
Yeah.
Incredible stat. Snap throw to first as Ramirez back in the Boston Globe today that Ortiz and A-Rod hitting home runs in the same game. First time that two 40-plus-year-old players hit home runs in the same game. And the records go back to 1913. You know, people are wondering, why is he retiring? He's hitting .307, 4 homers and 18 runs batted in. And he was asked, you know, is he going to miss games like last night? And he said, well, I might. He goes, and if I get bored, I'll call the Red Sox and ask them to activate me.
I was wondering when that was going to come.
Well, does this mean no spring training and going and not getting ready, just activate me?
That's the way he painted it.
Get like, you know, one of our schedules, broadcaster schedule. Just work home games, just show up to DH at home. You won't have to travel. Oh, Roger Clemens had that for a while, didn't he?
With the Astros, right? Yeah. Two and two. Does not like the call. Has a little stroll.
I thought you weren't supposed to get out of the batter's box.
I think he's got a complaint there.
Yeah, I think he does too, but you might want to watch Bogaerts over at first base. Now that Big Papi has a couple of strikes on him. Bogaerts is 5-0 in the stolen base department this year. Now he will be going on 3-2.
The second straight 3-2 count for Pineda, who came into this game in particular at Fenway Park with just 1 walk in 25 innings.
And also, once again, you know, he's going to at least throw 23 pitches. You know, that gives you a 5-inning start again. Runner goes. Lined into center field. It's a base hit for Ortiz. Ellsbury will get the ball into second. Moving to third is Bogaerts. So now it'll be more than 23.
A slider, as you see, on 3-2, you're going to throw it for a strike. It's spinning and not sliding, as Ortiz is all over it. You know, we talked about in the pregame about Pineda mixing in that third pitch, a changeup. That would have been a good spot for it. Doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence in that pitch. At times he's thrown it. It's been very effective.
It's going to bring up another hot hitter for the Red Sox. Ramirez has a 5-game hitting streak going. And the Red Sox are threatening again. They've scored a lot of runs in the first inning this year.
Here's Hanley Ramirez with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Pineda, 95 miles an hour, throwing hard, but he's having trouble locating right now. Early big spot, especially where the Yankees have been scoring or not scoring. Strike.
You're right, Michael. It's a good point. It's even more important when you have a struggling offense, not to put them in a big hole early on.
You know, one of the keys for any starting pitcher is to try and make sure your team scores first. Keep the other team off the board as long as you have to.
Two and one. Ramirez last night had 1 hit in 4 at-bats. 26 pitches, 14 balls. Now you mentioned in the open, David, about command and control. Sometimes you might not walk guys, but you're not be putting it over the 17-inch plate the way you want. He's at least missing off the plate and throwing balls.
Yeah, and the thing is that when you run deep counts, you get into a make a pitch mode where you really do have to hit the corners. And we saw with Big Papi there on 3-2, just kind of a slide, a get me over slider, not thrown with a lot of conviction.
I wonder if this is a residual effect from last game when he gave up the home runs, and now he's trying to be very fine and hit the corners and stay away from the middle.
Two. Strike 3. Ramirez down looking, and now he's looking at the home plate umpire. Did not like the call. No runs a hit. 2 men left. We played 1. Nothing. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by the Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid Go Beyond Utility, and by NYA Langone Medical Center, made for New York, and by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive the all-new RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota, let's go places. All right, first pitch of the second inning was a strike to Mark Teixeira. It'll be Teixeira, A-Rod, and McCann against Rick Porcello. Breaking ball misses outside. Porcello made his debut in the big leagues in 2009 as a 20-year-old and was 14-9 with the Tigers, 3.96. And right now, his major league record after starting off 4-0 this year is 89-78.
An old school manager, Jim Leyland, who really pushed for him to make the team out of spring training that year.
Tony, you talked about his strikeout rate going up. What would cause a pitcher's strikeout rate to go up after? You know, he's been primarily known as a sinker baller and a ground ball pitcher.
You know, you mentioned it. It's really since he came off the disabled list last year, towards the end of the year. But a lot of it's like that. He's getting a lot more called third strikes and using his changeup more often. Get a look right here and right to the glove. Fastball, Teixeira sitting on off speed.
It's going to bring up Alex, who hit a home run off the light tower in left center last night, his 4th home run of the year. So he had a home run the same game as David Ortiz, and he said after the game, if you told me 10 years ago Poppy and I were going to hit home runs at 40, I would have laughed.
Well, unlike Poppy, he's going to get a chance to hit a few at 41. Well, that's this year.
Yeah, and 42.
Yeah, at 42 as well.
Alex is 9 home runs away from 700. Last night's homer was 691. He had 1 home run, 1 hit, and 4 at bats last night.
Get the early returns on the strike zone tonight. Swing the bat. This is a pitcher's umpire. He's not afraid to raise his right arm and call strikes.
Chopped to short. 2 away.
That's what you're used to seeing from Porcello, the ground balls. All of a sudden you try and square up that fastball, it sinks, you hit on top of it, bang it into the dirt.
Here's Brian McCann. Brian was 0 for 4 last night with 2 strikeouts. Yankee offense just not clicking, and you talk to everybody, they're all saying the right things. It's coming, not finding holes. Sooner or later it'll happen. But that brings up the old Yogi line. Well, how early does it start getting late? And I'm paraphrasing him. So now there's a month gone by now. This is the last game of April, and the Yankees are going to finish under 500. They come into this game at 8-13, and they've wasted some pretty good pitching. They seem to have 2 as the level of runs that they score each day, and that puts a lot of pressure on the pitchers, both starters and relievers. So they've got to start hitting. Bring him on.
What I pay attention to, Michael, it's sort of the opposite at the end of the year. In September, you really pay attention to how many games behind you are in the standings. Now it's how many games you are under 500. You certainly don't want that hole to get very deep.
Line drive, a base hit through the shift for McCann. So McCann picks up a 2-out single. Alan Cockrell, the Yankee hitting coach, spoke to the media about the team slump. Here he is.
We have an accomplished group in that clubhouse that have been through this before. So I just think that if you look at the body of work over the last four days, I think we're going in the right direction. Hitting balls hard, that's really all you can control.
Well, they're saying the right things, as I mentioned. Although the double play haunted them yesterday, they hit into a couple, struck out into one, ran into another. So the 4 double plays certainly not a positive for them.
Yeah, there were opportunities to put runs on the board last night. It just, for some reason, a double play would pop up at the wrong time. And as you said, Michael, unusual double plays. The fly ball thrown out at home plate, strike him out, throw him out, double play. Just not happening. They help keep Henry Owens in the game.
Now, Starlin Castro yesterday hit a sinking line drive in front of Jackie Bradley, who tried to shoestring it, and it got by him. And there's plenty of real estate behind Bradley. And Castro ended up at third. And a couple of his teammates spoke to him and said, you know what, you run hard out of the box, that's an inside the park home run, and it's amplified because the Yankees, they don't score runs. And then he got thrown out trying to score on a sac fly to left. That one is driven to left, and it's going to be played off the wall by Holt. And that's just a very, very hard, long single by Starlin Castro.
Well played by Holt in left field. Over the years, the Red Sox left fielders become accustomed to playing the green monster here. One hop, he's got it, bare hands it, gets it back in.
Well, let's see Castro yesterday running out of the box. Or not running. If he's running hard out of the box, Joe Espada probably sends him. So he gets a triple. And again, it's amplified because they don't score runs, and then the next play is a 7-2 double play.
Let's put it this way. He would have had a better opportunity to score. There was only one out at the time. So Espada might have held him. But the thing is, he lost all chance at an inside the park home run with those first few steps out of the box.
Not by any stretch of the imagination defending him. It wasn't as if he was styling on a long fly ball.
No.
He either thought it was a single at most, or it was going to be a line drive out.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point, Michael. He got caught being a spectator a little bit, you know, getting excited on whether the ball was going to get caught or not.
Usually Jackie Bradley's pretty solid in center field, and not much gets by him. And he got too close to that, and it skipped under his glove. And the race was on. It's a long way out there near that 420 sign.
The good thing, there's a lot of veterans on this team. Castro's 26, and a couple of the guys just, it wasn't a scolding. It was a lot of cameras out here. A lot of things can be seen. So if you're not running. The 0-2. Ground ball left side, grabbed by Shaw. And he gets the force at second as the Yankees, again, do not get a hit with runners in scoring position. As they strand 2, we go to the bottom of the second. schedule. It's brought to you by Audi. Visit a Tri-State Audi dealer and get behind the wheel of the Audi model you've always wanted. One more game here in Boston. That's tomorrow night on ESPN. Monday is an off day. Yankees will be in Baltimore then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 3 night games at Camden Yards, all on Yes. And then the Red Sox come to Yankee Stadium Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday night. So that's the Yankees' upcoming schedule. Travis Shaw will lead off against Michael Pineda, and a swing and a miss. 0-1 as we start the bottom of the second inning.
It was Shaw who last night got that opposite field single that got the rally started in the 7th inning. And David and Michael, I think the Red Sox hitters in that inning made a conscious effort to go the other way with Tanaka's pitches that were sinking away from the lefties. All 3 hits that inning were to the opposite field. And it was an in-game adjustment that paid off to tie the game. Up until that point, all 3 of the hitters that had a hit in that inning did not have one.
Two and one. Told you yesterday Travis Shaw won the third base job over Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval just did not look good in spring training, came into camp overweight, and then after it was made public that Shaw had won the third base job, and then it also was revealed that Sandoval was dealing with a bad shoulder. He's rehabbing that right now, and they're hoping that he actually can get back and come off the bench without having surgery. If he has surgery on the shoulder, he'll be out a long time.
In which case the Red Sox may have insurance on his contract, which means they would probably get a portion of it back. Usually about 80% on a lot of those insurance policies that major league teams employ on their players.
That one is taken the other way, and it is a foul ball.
Well, the Red Sox thought Sandoval was healthy in spring training. Either way, Shaw had beaten him out, as this is going to be about a foot or so foul. And we saw a little bit of Shaw last year, and he was kind of impressive. You began to think, well, where's he going to play if they're going to put Ramirez at first base? Well, now we know.
Nub the other way.
Oh, it was a gutsy decision by the Red Sox organization to put Pablo Sandoval on the bench with a huge contract and take a chance on Shaw, and Shaw has justified it in the early going here. As Farrell, the manager there, was given the opportunity by Dave Dombrowski and the ownership to say, you go with your heart. Who do you think the best player is? Who gives us the best chance to win?
Well, by far Shaw had the best spring, so he got the job. 11 of his 25 hits are for extra bases so far this year.
And they did the same thing in left field with Brock Holt. But Dave Dombrowski said, listen, if you think Holt should be the left fielder and not Rosny Castillo, then we'll send Castillo down. And that's a lot of money that they spent on the Cuban defector.
There's double D.
Fly ball. You can see that Ellsbury did not see it. Gardner did and makes the play for the first out. Follow Yankees baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. And here is Holt. Red Sox come into the game at 13-10, a game and a half behind the somewhat surprising Orioles at 14-8. They sit atop the American League East. Toronto's playing in Tampa Bay. And the Blue Jays lead 2-1 in the 6th. And Toronto's 11-13, essentially tied with Tampa Bay. The Yankees are on the bottom of the East at 8-13, just 5.5 games back, though. Fly ball. Into the corner goes Gardner. He'll make the play. The second out. And the Yankees head to Baltimore, as we showed you on the upcoming schedule. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. And the Red Sox have, or the Orioles have lost just 1 game at Camden Yards in 11 so far this year. They're 10-1. Here's Christian Vasquez coming back from Tommy John surgery. Missed last season.
Yeah, he's the second catcher in the division. You got Matt Wieters in Baltimore, the same deal with the Tommy John. And Vasquez is a solid defender, strong throwing arm, and I guess he's rebuilt it up, and he's back ready to go. When he was ready, they sent Swihart to the minor leagues. And Swihart, I thought, did a pretty good job for them last year.
And now, in order to make Swihart a viable option for the future, they're having him play left field twice a week, just so he could be more versatile.
The clear value with Swihart is in his bat. As Vasquez universally is believed to be the better defender behind home plate all the way around.
Well, he works every winter with Yadier Molina. And Joe Kelly, who pitched to Molina with the Cardinals and now is on the DL with the Red Sox, has given Vasquez the nickname Yachty. So everybody on the team calls him Yachty. He said he's identical to Molina behind the plate, the way he receives, the way he calls the game, the way he throws. That's high praise.
Yadier Molina's a pretty good hitter, too.
Think about the Red Sox and the Yankees all these years. The battle at the catcher position has really been defining for both franchises. Back to Fisk and Munson, Posada and Veritek.
There's a base hit up the middle as Gardner will field in left center, and Vasquez picks up a 2-out single.
Mentioned that Yadier Molina is a pretty good hitter. So is Vasquez. Got a 5-game hitting streak going with that base hit. So he's off to a decent start for these Red Sox.
Going to extend this inning for Michael Pineda as he's going to approach 50 pitches now.
Jackie Bradley Jr. takes inside. He got the big hit against Tanaka last night. Doubled off the monster. Drove in 2 runs to tie the game.
A few more changeups this inning. We saw one right there. We saw one on the fly ball by Shaw to center field. And David, you mentioned the fact that they want him to, speaking of Pineda, to work that changeup into the repertoire a little bit more. And we've seen a couple. They've been effective thus far.
Fly ball left field. Gardner will play it off the wall. Vasquez will go to third, and the throw comes into Headley. It's a double for Bradley, and the Red Sox are set up at second and third with 2 outs.
Be interesting to see where that pitch was. We'll take a look. It's kind of in the middle, moving away, and Jackie Bradley Jr., just as he did last night, hits one almost to the same spot off the wall where he's drove in 2 runs. Vasquez will end up at third. And Pineda's in a little deeper water here in the second inning.
Ken, you think that was playable if he goes back?
The problem playing left field here, you don't want to get too close to the wall.
Right.
Because if it's hit hard enough, you're not going to catch it anyway. The whole idea is to cut things off in front of you, catch the line drives that might be base hits.
Yeah, he would not have got
He would not have got that.
Yeah.
Well, that was a little more of a line drive on that particular swing.
Another dent in the wall out there, so to speak.
Thought the hit last night by Bradley Jr. was more of a fly ball, a classic Fenway wall ball double.
Betts, fly ball right field, long run for Beltran. He can't get there. That'll score 2. Betts picks up a 2-run double, and the Red Sox are up 2-0.
All this with 2 outs. Not hit well by Betts, but well placed. Like hits on the label there. He didn't really get the good wood on it, but if he did, the ball would have carried out to Beltran.
You can tell by his reaction out of the box. You know, he almost has fooled himself. He couldn't have thrown it out there any better. I think when you look back in Pineda's frustration, you had the 8-hole hitter up and 2 outs and Vasquez up and a right-handed batter and 2 strikes and couldn't put him away. And now, once again, as we've seen all year long, Kenny, you and I talked about it in Texas, the amount of damage the Yankee pitchers collectively have given up with 2 outs and 2 strikes this year so far has really been remarkable.
Why is that, though, David? What would cause that?
I don't know if there's any definitive answer for it other than just not executing, not burying guys when you get ahead, when you've got a chance to finish off an inning. Maybe it's just a small sample size from early in the year. It's probably a combination of all those things.
Here's Pedroia.
My thought is maybe sometimes pitchers relax when they've got the 2 outs, and really the 3rd out is the one you have to go the hardest at. Just bury him. Let's get it over with. Get back in the dugout, give your team a chance to score some runs.
Pedroia popped up to Castro in the 1st inning. So a runner at second base, 2 outs, 2 runs in. Teixeira goes to his knees. He'll take it himself. Beats Pedroia to the bag, and that will do it. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 man left on base. We played 2. It's 2-0 Red Sox. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by the Blue Cash Everyday Card from American Express. All right, so the Yankees are down 2-0 as we head to the third inning. Going to be 9-1-2 in the Yankees order, starting with Chase Headley, who's been dropped to 9th in the Yankee batting order. And there's a strike. Headley still looking for his first extra base hit of the year.
I think by batting him in 9th, Joe Girardi's sending him a message. There's no spot lower than this one.
That was a message that was once sent to Bernie Williams, and the third base coach of the Red Sox, Brian Butterfield, who was a lieutenant under Buck Showalter, is the one who told Bernie he was batting 9th. Bernie was really struggling early in his career, and Brian told Bernie, "There's nothing after 9th, Bernie."
I can recall being put in the 8th spot when I was struggling early in one year. And I was called in the office by you-know-who, Mr. Weaver, and he said, there's only one spot lower than this one, and then you're next to me.
Pretty telling to tell a player.
Well, you know, he was used to me hitting a lot better, and I was too. And eventually, I came back and led the team in hitting that year. It was a long, hard grind, though.
The 1-2. You must really not have wanted to sit next to him.
No. Listen to him all night.
Two. Strike 3. Headley down looking. And that'll bring up Jacoby Ellsbury. And that brings us to Who's Hot. And it's brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Take a look at the numbers. The most home runs he has against any pitcher. Ellsbury with 4 home runs against Porcello. And they were all solo home runs. But 12 for 26 for 462 batting average. He did ground out to short to start off the game against Porcello.
There are just some pitchers who throw your speed. They know it, and you know it.
Fly ball down the left field line. Holt on the run. He'll make the play. 2 down. That iconic John Hancock sign above the scoreboard in right center. That's 515 feet away from home plate.
You know, that's the actual size of the signature that John Hancock put on the Declaration of Independence, I believe, for the King of England to see.
It's a good looking signature, too.
Yeah, it is.
Gardner shows bunt, takes a pitch upstairs, 1-0.
Now, what they say, he actually wrote it very large so the King could see it without his spectacles.
It was what, King George, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
King George portrayed very an interesting manner in the Broadway musical Hamilton.
I couldn't get a ticket. Well, you got some pull.
Well, yeah,
How'd
Michael.
you get tickets?
Yeah.
The 1-1. Ground ball is short. I was going to give you how I got it, but the Yankees go down 1-2-3. So Porcello, as we head to the bottom of the third, is leading 2-0. Around the majors, and it's brought to you by the new Jet Blue card. Boy, the Tigers raised a lot of eyebrows when they signed Jordan Zimmerman to that big free agent contract. Who's laughing now? Went to 5-0 with a win over the Twins. Carlos Gomez out through the weekend with a sore rib cage. And Ryan Rucco's buddy, Joe Panic, day-to-day for the Giants, out with a groin strain. Moments ago here at Fenway Park, Fred Lynn got a big hand from the crowd. They showed some of the highlights of his career with the Red Sox on the big board. And there's a strike to Bogaerts. Hey, today's a special game for us because this is actually the first game that we've been able to do on Pix 11, which means it's the first game that all the Yankee fans have been able to enjoy, because you know there's a part of Yankee Universe that has Comcast. Nice play by Headley to get Bogaerts. That has not been able to see us. That's about 900,000 homes because Comcast took the Yes Network off. And, you know, it's a good time to tell you, because now we have a complete listening audience, that it looks like you're going to miss the entire season on Yes of Yankee baseball if you have Comcast. So if you're a Comcast customer and you want to watch the Yankees, hey, the bottom line is you need to switch to another provider that happens to carry Yes if you don't want to miss any more Yankee games. And those ultimate TV providers, it includes DirecTV, Fios, Frontier, PlayStation View, and now Sling TV as well. So, you know, we'd love to have you watch every Yankee game you can. So if you have Comcast, I guess that's the way you're going to have to do it.
Kind of a shame, Michael, that's for sure. I mean, you never know when there's going to be a historical game. We almost saw one with Nathan Eovaldi the other night. Potential no-hitter, Kenny, that we called in Texas.
Yeah, he was really dealing that particular evening. But you think of historical things, and you've got Alex Rodriguez on this team who's got 691 home runs. So eventually he's going to get to 700, and there might be quite a few fans who miss it, unfortunately, unless they change providers. I mean, there's been only 2 other players who've gotten to 700 home runs. Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds.
And Babe Ruth.
Oh, yeah, 3. Make it 3.
Let's not forget Babe.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you're a Comcast customer and you want more information on how to get to another provider, just go to keepyesnetwork.com and they'll give you more information. So, again, we welcome those that have not been able to watch Yankee baseball until it's on Pix 11. So, hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good beginning of the year. Hope to see more of you. Count is 2-1 on Ortiz, who had a single in the first. I was trying to think of players that have retired coming off monster seasons.
Just in baseball?
Yeah, in any sport, okay. Really. I can't come up with that many, if any, players that have just Barry Sanders, Megatron,
Jim Brown.
Walked away. Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Mike Mussina won 20 games and walked away.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Tiki Barber still had a lot left in the tank. Paul O'Neill had a 20 steal season and he had years left and he walked away. But man, I'm just curious. Ortiz rips one down the right field line, foul. If Ortiz has 40 and 120, is he really going to say, okay, that's it? Right now he's at 316, 4 home runs, and 18 ribbies.
Well, if you prorate the, as you can see, that one just on the wrong side of the pesky pole. We were talking about this the other night. From a hitter standpoint, you want to get as close to 20 runs batted in a month. And he's got 18 this month, and usually April's the short month. You don't get as many games in April as you do in the other months. So he's on his way to a 100 RBI season.
It's going to be interesting to follow, Michael. It's a great question. He kind of threw out a little coy answer already today that you mentioned before about it's okay if I get bored, I'll wait for a call from the Red Sox and show up again.
You know, one guy we left out, Mariano, had 44 saves and he walked away. And we looked up Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, 1,491 yards in 1998, just shockingly retired. 3-2.
I think you're going to start to see a lot of, well, NFL players, and we're seeing it. They're starting to retire a little earlier than they may have in the past. And it's primarily physical reasons they're doing it.
Just missed outside. Checks the swing. And Lance Barksdale said, yeah, he did check it, so a walk for Ortiz.
Get another look. Little bit of movement to McCann's glove. Very close, borderline, and we've seen David Ortiz work the home plate umpire just about as well as anybody in the game. He's obviously a veteran.
He worked him before he even got in the box. He was talking to Dan Iasonia.
Talk about NBA coaches who work referees and eventually get calls down the road. And it's the same with hitters, veteran hitters in the box. Catchers as well, working for their pitchers.
Wait a minute. I've seen pitchers talk to umpires as they're walking off the mound too.
Can happen. You're a little further away. Kind of rely on your catcher to work the umpire for you. But yes, you're right. There are pitchers who do that as well.
Hanley Ramirez didn't like the strike 3 call against him with runners on first and third in the first inning. You know, Ramirez won the Rookie of the Year with the Marlins in 2006, and his manager was Joe Girardi. And Girardi has nothing but praise for the type of player that Hanley Ramirez was.
Marlins got him from the Red Sox.
Yep, in the Josh Beckett and Mike Lowell deal. And that was a deal that was made when Theo Epstein had walked away from the Red Sox. He just left for a couple of months, and the pressure, I think he left Fenway Park dressed in a gorilla suit so that the press wouldn't be able to interview him. Yeah. Nobody noticed the gorilla walking across the street. And the front office then made the trade for Beckett. Not sure that Epstein would have traded Hanley Ramirez, who was highly thought of at the time. But the Red Sox got him back, free agent contract, 4 years, $88 million.
Might not have liked that one either. Good job by McCann to bring the glove up very subtly. Just a little movement might have gotten the call.
And obviously, Iasonia has had a low strike zone tonight. A lot of those pitches in that zone right there have been called a strike tonight.
Swing and a miss. Ramirez down on strikes. He's walking away from the plate very slowly. Not happy. Kind of a vacant stare.
2 strikeouts for Pineda. Both have been Ramirez. Once called, and this time swinging. Good slider.
We've just seen a slow motion replay, and Ramirez still is not at the dugout. I have never seen anyone take that slow a walk to the dugout. This is live right now, and very slow.
And it's not yes, Mo.
Wow. Here's Travis Shaw, and there's a strike. I can't think of any set of dugouts that would be farther away from home plate than here at Fenway Park. Can you guys think of it?
I can't think of any set that are smaller either.
Certainly not anymore with Old Tiger Stadium. You know, now a thing of the past.
And visiting clubhouse in here at Fenway Park hasn't gotten any bigger either.
Well, I have covered playoff series here, and you cannot move in that clubhouse. Literally, people like leaning up against each other. It's so crowded. That one is passed to Shera and off the wall on the side in right field. Beltran fields and will get it into second, Ortiz moves to third. It's a single for Travis Shaw.
A lot of nooks and crannies out there in right field or the right fielder to deal with, but particularly when that ball gets down in the corner. Now this one kind of caromed out to Beltran, who did a good job of coming up with it. First of all, the smash, you get it back to Sherry, you know it has to be hit pretty well. Now it's headed down the line. It's going to carry him off the wall here. The problem is when it gets beyond that little turn, that's when the problem comes in for the right fielders. And Beltran gets it back in quickly, and it's first and third.
Once again, damage done with 2 outs and 2 strikes on an 0-2 count.
And you've got a pitcher now with 72 pitches with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, so he is not long for this game unless he has a couple of really quick, economical innings. Here's Brock Holt.
I was talking about right field. I look at Beltran out there, and I kind of have a flashback. And when you're out there, you don't really realize how much ground you got to cover until you're actually standing out there. There's a lot of room to his left and a lot of room to his right. I mean, you feel like you're standing in the middle of an airfield.
So many plays that have been made over the years out there. Who could forget the running Lou Piniella catch back in the 70s down there in a playoff game?
Or, the one that Dwight Evans made against Joe Morgan in the World Series. And as I mentioned it last night, Dwight Evans was as good as anybody ever to play right field here at Fenway Park.
Let's look back at the play that Piniella made in the sun. Jerry Remy, the batter. Piniella didn't see it, and that really saved that game for the Yankees. Piniella just reaching for where he thought the ball would be. Pretty amazing play.
Early October baseball, which eventually turned into late October baseball.
Sterling Castro gets a nice hop, and that is going to do it. Here in the 3rd, no runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. We go to the 4th. It's 2-0 Red Sox. Well, it's the best way to start your weekday. Join Suki, Scott, and the Pix 11 News team. Linda Church has the weather, and Caitlin Monte's traffic reports keep you in the know. Mornings from 5 to 9 on the Pix 11 Morning News, where every story hits home. We go to the 4th inning, and Carlos Beltran takes a strike. 2-0 Red Sox. 2 runs for the Red Sox in the 2nd inning. Beltran, Teixeira, and A-Rod. Well, we looked it up about the 2-out runs. The Yankees have allowed 55 2-out runs so far this year. That leads the American League, and they're 3rd in Major League Baseball.
It just seemed to be there was way too many of them.
Swing and a miss. Chased a pitch up in the zone, 93 miles an hour. Beltran down on strikes.
Higher than high. And Beltran just overly aggressive. No way to even foul that pitch off.
Mark Teixeira fouls it away. Way out in front, pulled the string, 1-2.
70 miles per hour on a curveball.
Probably his 4th best pitch is Porcello breaks that out kind of just for show and against big swingers like Mark Teixeira.
Porcello grew up in a baseball family in Morristown. His mom was a huge Yankee fan. Rick was a Met fan, and Rick actually said at one point his mom loved Derek Jeter probably more than she loved him. Strike 3. Teixeira down looking for the 2nd time tonight. He did not like that call.
Kind of a delayed call by Dan Iasonia, but he did ring him up. As David said, it's a wide plate tonight. I'm not so sure about that, but it's close. And sometimes the center field camera is just off a little bit, not directly behind and in front of home plate. But Teixeira didn't think that was a strike. I didn't either. I wouldn't like that called on me.
Similar to the one Hanley Ramirez was rung up on the other side of the plate.
Alex takes up and in, 1-0.
But it's not a strike.
No. I think one thing, though, is from a hitter standpoint, especially the veterans, you got to know your umpires.
Rounded to short. Bogarts fields across the diamond in the dirt. And picked by Ramirez for the final out of the inning. So the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. Hanley still learning how to play first base. Almost knocked into the dugout by making this play, but he made it nonetheless. Broadcast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. All right, we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Hanley Ramirez has finally regained his balance. It'll be Vasquez, Bradley, and Betts. 8, 9, and 1 for the Red Sox against Michael Pineda. Vasquez started the rally in the 2nd inning when the Red Sox scored their 2 runs. He singled to left center field. That one is chopped to 3rd. Nice high hop and a strike to Teixeira. 1 away. Those are the type of outs that Pineda needs with 78 pitches here in the 4th inning. Always seems like Pineda's having an internal conversation with himself on the mound. Kind of series of gyrations and ticks and things like that. You talk to yourself, David? I mean, not now.
Well, I still do, yes.
Are you thinking through at bats when you're on the mound?
Definitely. You know, I did it more in between innings, trying to anticipate the flow of the game, but certainly on the mound, you can actually feel like you're talking to yourself. A lot of it would be, you know, trying to push yourself more, you know, to fight off the negative thoughts that creep in. The big difference between throwing with conviction or throwing and hoping that it goes where you're trying to throw it. A lot of sports psychologists will talk about that. Conviction's so important. Confidence can be so fleeting for the best of athletes. You hear a lot of cliches, trust your stuff.
And a walk to Jackie Bradley Jr.
Bradley Jr. got that double last, make that in the 2nd inning. Extended a hitting streak to 7 straight games. I was looking up some numbers on him. 39 of his last 68 hits are for extra bases. Now, Jackie Bradley Jr., when he first got to the big leagues, was almost an automatic out. But he's starting to, I think the 2nd half of last year, he started to come on. I think it's no mistake, it's Chili Davis' influence on him and a lot of these Red Sox hitters.
Betts takes low, 1-0.
Well, Jackie Bradley Jr., you're right, Ken. He did turn a corner in the 2nd half of last year, and you see there's a chili dog. Well respected throughout the game, one of the great switch hitters of all time. Jackie Bradley Jr. just embracing the wall. You mentioned it, Kenny, about hitting the ball the other way, looking for pitches to hit the other way. And fly balls pay off here at Fenway Park for left-handed hitters. And David Ortiz adopted that style when he became a member of the Red Sox. And one of the best of all times who changed his entire hitting style was Wade Boggs when he played here.
Line to left field. It is a foul. Hooked into the seats.
You know, one of the things about the Red Sox, their outfield is young. I mean, Bradley Jr. is going to be here for a while. Mookie Betts the same. And we all know the Red Sox have the wherewithal to keep them if they want to.
Going for, you know, the all-around approach. Base running, speed, defense, maybe sacrificing a little bit of power.
Two and one on Mookie Betts. Kirby Yates getting ready for the Yankees. 86 pitches by Pineda. Betts has driven in the 2 runs in this game. The double in the second inning.
And he's got a pretty quick move for a big man. It's all within the feet, the quickness.
Entering tonight, Betts actually leads Major League Baseball with 83 ribbies from the leadoff spot, and that's since the start of the 2015 season. So he picked up 2 more tonight.
Two schools of thought, Michael. You know, we talked about this last year when the Blue Jays made the big trade for Troy Tulowitzki and then proceeded to bat him first. The old school philosophy is you want a spark plug. That's a leadoff hitter. The new school is that leadoff hitter gets the extra at bat per game. He's the first one to bat the 5th time during a game, and over the course of a season, you're going to get 50 or 75 more at bats.
Runner goes, and the ground ball to Headley, and a scoop by Teixeira to get Betts. Moving to second is Bradley.
The problem for the Blue Jays was that Tulowitzki didn't like it up there, and the Blue Jays were out a leadoff hitter. Michael Saunders has been doing a pretty good job lately for them at the top, but Devin Travis is on his way back. He's now at an extended spring training, getting ready after a long battle with a shoulder injury, and he might be the Blue Jays' answer to the top spot in the order.
Think about it, Michael. You only lead off once a game. The rest of the game, the leadoff hitter can bat at any point during an inning. It's just one time a game that you actually lead off the game.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. He's 0 for 2. Runner at second, 2 outs. And a strike.
Well, that's why a lot of teams score well in the first inning, because the manager has his lineup set the way he wants it, and the best way to attack the opposition, including that leadoff hitter who's usually a pretty good on-base percentage guy and can run.
Well, it's very clear the Yankees have to fix Michael Pineda. He's too important to what they try to do for him to have an outing like he had the last time at the stadium, and now give him 4 innings and turn it over to the bullpen. Even if it's just 2 runs, this is not a great performance when your starter goes 4 innings. He's at 91 pitches with 2 outs in the 4th. Grounded to Gregorius. That will do it here in the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the 5th. It's 2-0 Sox. Out-of-town scores brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealers. Detroit beats a slumping Twins team 4-1. Washington continues to play well, beating St. Louis 6-1. Oakland 2-0 over Houston. The Mets have taken the first 2 games against the Giants 6-5 today after a blowout last night. Toronto and Tampa Bay 3-3 bottom of the 8th inning at the Trop. And the White Sox and the Orioles both off to good starts 3-3 bottom of the 4th inning. And there's a strike to Brian McCann. 2-0 as we go to the 5th in favor of the Red Sox. Yankees sat down the bullpen, so they will probably send Pineda out for the 5th and get him over 100 pitches.
Yeah, Michael, you're right, though. Pineda's not had a 1-2-3 inning as of yet. And that has driven up his pitch count.
Flip side of things, Porcello here, 57 pitches here in the 5th.
And he's had 3 1-2-3 innings. 3 of the 4.
3-2 on McCann. McCann, Castro, and Gregorius. Yankees have 2 hits. The Red Sox have 5. There's the breakdown for Rick Porcello by inning. A lot of 11s. 3 11-pitch innings. And there's a nice piece of hitting against the shift, as McCann will pick up a single, and I'll stop right there as they get it in. So McCann's 2 for 2. McCann and Beltran are the 2 Yankee players that will occasionally go the other way against the shift.
Looked like he just blocked it off and said, I'll take a little shot this way, and certainly nobody home on the left side of the infield.
Especially with 2 strikes in protect mode anyway. That's what it's going to take, you know, is especially leading off innings. You're down by 2 runs later in the games. When are the guys going to start taking advantage of the shift and take the gifts?
McCann said he worked on that in the offseason.
Castro, looks like a double play. There's 1, and there's 2. 4 of them last night. The first one tonight, a twin killing.
Bogart's apologizing to Pedroia for the feed he gave him at second base. It wasn't a good one for such, looked like it was going to be a routine double play. He flipped it right on top of the bag, and Pedroia acrobatically had to get the ball over the first base. And at the end of this play, Bogarts came over in almost an apologetic mood, said, I'm sorry I gave you that type of feed. You can see he's upset with himself.
What a play by Pedroia, though, to go down and get rid of that. Looked like Kink DeColvey or a submarine pitcher delivering that double play from second. Dan Quisenberry style. Rick Porcello is on the mound now for the 213th time in his career. Just remarkable for a kid that's just 27 years old. Think about that. We mentioned, as Michael did as well, when he broke in at 20 years old. Just turned 27.
Well, they always say they want to give the #1 draft picks a good long look. He's gotten one.
Went to Seton Hall Prep, had a full ride scholarship to the University of North Carolina. His parents were really torn. They really wanted him to go, but it's hard to turn away first-round draft pick money. Oh. 3-2 on Gregorius. He also has baseball in his DNA. His grandfather, Sam Dente, played for the Indians in the 1954 World Series.
He got swept by the then New York Giants.
Red Sox signed him to a 4-year, I believe, $80 million deal. He'll be young again after that one's over. He'll be looking for another deal.
And Gregorius works a 2-out walk. So that's the first walk issued by Porcello. And that'll bring up Headley. Now here's something I don't understand, Kenny, and I always ask this question every single year. I mean, Headley is scratching for hits.
Yeah.
There's so much real estate on the left side. Why wouldn't you block it up and try to just give yourself a hit?
You give yourself something positive to think about when you're down to first base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe not so much in this situation because the Yankees are down 2, and he actually represents the tying run if he gets into 1.
And that's off the glove of Shaw and into left field. Didi's going for third. The throw gets past Shaw, but a nice backup by Porcello might have saved a run. Excellent backup by the pitcher and a base hit for Headley.
How many times have we seen pitchers fail to back up and not be where they're supposed to be? You can see Porcello drifting in that direction, and he's going to be right on the spot. Well, actually had to lay out a little bit to come up with it. Gregorius takes a chance. Boy, that throw almost went to the Yankee dugout. And it's not like Headley did this on purpose. He just got jammed. But with nobody really home on that side of the infield, as we watch Porcello make the play to save himself a run, it's that type of hit to me that really gets a hitter going, because third baseman almost caught it. Shaw almost made the play on it. So now you begin to think, oh, maybe things are starting to go my way here.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury 0 for 2 and swings at the first pitch and fouls it away.
Oh, Gregorius really took a chance there with 2 outs to try to get to third base. The play's in front of him. Good throw, might have been pretty close.
You better make it.
Ellsbury came into this game with great numbers against Porcello. Snap throw to first. Headley back.
Vasquez will not hesitate. Kind of reminds you of well, Pudge Rodriguez wore number 7. Pudge Rodriguez from Puerto Rico as well. Great catchers from Puerto Rico.
Good time to take a chance.
Yeah.
2 outs. Try to get your pitcher a break and get him out of this inning with two men on, and Ellsbury up.
Grounded right side. Pedroia is there. He gets Ellsbury, and the Yankees again fall short with runners in scoring position. They strand 2 or halfway through. The Red Sox up by 2. for a Yankee Stadium tradition, Cap Night with a twist. All guests in attendance receive a special green Yankees cap courtesy of the Robin Hood Foundation. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window. Yankees clubhouse shops or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. All right, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And it's 2-0 Red Sox. It'll be Bogarts, Ortiz, and Ramirez against Pineda. So the Yankees threaten in the top of the inning, can't get it done. Bogarts is 0 for 1 with a walk. Shows you the respect that this kid has around baseball in a Chasen Shreve is up in a league that just loves to shift. They don't shift against Bogarts because he uses the whole field. They'll shade it up the middle on the right side, but there are 2 infielders on each side, the way it was kind of drawn up.
With the walk in the first inning, Bogarts has now reached safely in 10 consecutive games. And I know it's early in his career, but he's a better than 300 hitter against the Yankees. And you got to be careful with him. He's got a little bit of power.
John Farrell, Red Sox manager. Good to see him in the dugout. Last August, announced he had stage 1 lymphoma. Underwent 9 weeks of chemo. And on October 2015, doctors told him that he was in remission. And the only reason that they found it when they did, he was undergoing hernia surgery. And they said, we have a little bit of an issue here, and that's why they caught it as stage 1. So very, very lucky. And the guy next to him, on the left of your screen, to his right, Torey Lovullo, did a great job as the interim manager, had the team playing hard. And there was some thought, because of the way that the Red Sox had played last year, that if Farrell had not gotten sick, he might have gotten fired. And Lovullo would be the guy who would take over. He's getting paid almost like some managers get paid. He's kind of the manager in waiting. But so far, Farrell's done a great job with the team as Bogarts goes down on strikes.
There was also thought that Lovullo might end up managing another team. But the Red Sox paid him so well that he decided, I'll just stay right where I am.
So a trip to the mound with Ortiz due up by Larry Rothschild. What could this be about, David?
It's obviously about strategy on Ortiz. How are you going to pitch Ortiz? At 98 pitches here. It's kind of hard to pitch around Ortiz at this point to get to the righty on deck. How many pitches are they going to allow Pineda to throw? And you can see the umpires break it up quickly, because that's part of the speed up rules as well, as pitching coaches only have 30 seconds from the minute they walk out of the dugout. Larry Rothschild used up every second there.
And plus, there's no right-hander up in the bullpen to face Ramirez. It's Chasen Shreve, so they're going to let him pitch the big poppy here.
Grounded to short right field. And Ortiz is out, 2 away. looking up the scoreboard for the replay, but they're not replaying that ground ball. Here's Hanley Ramirez. He has struck out twice against Pineda.
Two straight fastballs. Maybe Rothschild said, you go after him, we'll let you stay in this, we'll let you try to complete this inning. But no real mystery to Ortiz, just two straight fastballs, got him down.
Ortiz is not just a guy who goes up there and swings for the fences. He studied what Betances had been doing and figured that he was going to start him off with a breaking ball. So he wasn't not waiting on that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Betances loves to throw that curveball early in the count. So maybe Rothschild was saying, let's just go with heat here.
It wasn't the best breaking ball either. That was kind of a flat one. It kind of hung. But Big Papi's hit a lot of those out of the ballpark.
Still has some zip on the fastball. Count 2-1. Count 3-1 on Ramirez. .105 pitches, threw 4 2/3, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts.
This looks like it will be his last hitter one way or another with the lefty Shaw on deck.
So he's going to complete 5 innings of play as Ellsbury will make the play in right center. And how about that? In the 5th inning, he works his first 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 6th, 2-0 Sox. Let's take a look at the Yankees in-game box score brought to you by ChevyOffers.com. Not many hits in there. Brian McCann with 2, so the top 5 guys in the order hitless. Then Starlin Castro has a single, Gregorius is 0 for 1, and Chase Headley has a single as well. So the Yankee offense continuing to struggle, this time against Rick Porcello. 5 runs scored in the last 32 innings for the New York Yankees. Makes it tough on pitchers. Brett Gardner will lead off as Michael Pineda, an interested spectator from the dugout. all things considered, didn't have great command, threw a lot of pitches, had a lot of innings where he threw a lot of pitches. I mean, you could be upset with 5 innings, but bottom line is he's kept the team in the game. Yankee offense really is the culprit right now. Fly ball into left center field. And it is run down by Jackie Bradley Jr. That's going to bring up Beltran. Fly ball to left in the first, and he chased a high fastball to strike out in the 4th inning.
One of the big differences in today's game, Michael, is that, as you mentioned, Michael Pineda's best inning was his last inning. And I can remember, Kenny, several starts I had where I kind of got it going late.
Stay in there.
I could give you 2 more innings now. All of a sudden I found it at the 100-pitch mark. But obviously that was a long time ago. And that just ain't going to happen anymore.
I think one reason starting pitching is really the gold standard in baseball nowadays, and you want to try and keep these guys as healthy as you possibly can, because nobody's going to really help you and trade you a starting pitcher because the cost is just too high.
That one is ripped into left field. Holt on the run. He's going to turn and play it off the monster. Beltran makes a big turn, but he's going to stop at first base. So a long single for Beltran.
Well, Coney, we were talking about it prior to last night's game. How many dents in the wall? There's another one. As this is out over the plate, and we talked about left-handed hitters using the wall there. And Beltran does it as well as any left-handed hitter in the past, or maybe in the future. Line drive off the wall, and he's held to a single.
Watch Brock Holt give a lesson on how to play wall ball. Positioning himself, and that's why Beltran held up right there, because Holt barehanded that ball and fired it all in one motion.
Here's Mark Teixeira. He struck out twice, both times looking.
Here's what I was talking about. But yeah, the body positioning, already in throwing position, and then bare hand, all in one motion. That's how it's done.
Become like a highlight player when you're playing left field at Fenway Park. Kari Yastrzemski was great at playing left field.
No wasted motion. Get your shoulders ready to throw. He's already square.
That one's fouled into the seats.
You ever go see Highline, Dan? Mike?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Remember, we used to train in Miami. We go to the front town, see Highline.
Just to watch it as a sport, though, not to bet, right? Huh? Along with Ken Singleton and David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for spending part of your Saturday evening with us here on Pix 11. We're in the top of the 6th inning, and the Red Sox lead the Yankees by a score of 2-0. Runner on first base, 1 man out. The 2-1 count on Mark Teixeira. Fly ball right field. Betts will make the play.
You saw Betts break backwards as if that ball was hit. One thing when you have the power hitters up, yeah, and the ball's hit your way, you automatically think, oh, this is hit well. But I didn't have the sound coming off the bat. See Betts break back and now have to come in and makes the play.
Another little wrinkle from Porcello this year. A little cutter. 86-mile-an-hour cut fastball. Got in on Teixeira. Tied him up just enough.
Here's Alex. He is 0 for 2 with 2 ground balls to shortstop. Xander Bogaerts with the play. First 2 times he came up, no one on base, and they had 3 infielders on the left side. This time playing more straight up with Pedroia on the right side of the infield and Hanley Ramirez holding Beltran at first. Yankees need a big blow, something to wake them up as they're down 2-0. Alex had a home run in yesterday's game. And the count 0-2.
Alex, a big swing at the first pitch, fastball in. Porcello chasing him in there again, only a little further and a little down.
Alex gave his bat to a kid after hitting the home run yesterday, and he was talking with the kid before hitting the home run, and the kid said, "Can I have your batting gloves?" And Alex said, "I'll give you my bat if I hit a home run." And everybody in the crowd started cheering that heard him, and he said, "Well, wait a minute, I'm 40 years old. It's not that easy." High fly ball, left field. Holt is there, and he puts it away for the final out of the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Boston. Alex Rodriguez, we told you, gave the bat to the young fan right near the Yankee dugout, and Meredith Marakovitz has more.
Well, Michael, when Alex handed him that bat, he had no idea exactly why that young fan was in the stands. And that young fan's name is David Moss. His father, Andy, was diagnosed with cancer last year, and one of his last wishes was to take his son to Fenway Park to meet his idol, David Ortiz. And while maybe he didn't come here an Alex Rodriguez fan, he certainly left an Alex Rodriguez fan, as you see the smile on his face. Unfortunately, his father was never able to take him here, but his mother on his 8th birthday, along with his sister, came to Fenway Park to fulfill that wish of his father, and certainly had an outstanding evening. Now, some Red Sox fans caught wind of his story, and they actually gave them tickets to sit right behind the Red Sox dugout in hope that he would be able to meet David Ortiz. Now, I asked Alex Rodriguez whether or not he was aware of that story, and he said no, but when I told him, he had a huge smile on his face and said he is glad he was able to make his day.
That's great. It's a great story when the fans interact with the players, and you give it back to a young fan like that, and you have a fan forever. Jason Shreve takes over for the Yankees. This is his 10th game as Michael Pineda goes 5. Count 0-2 on Travis Shaw. Wide open stance. Pitch inside.
You mentioned wide open stance, Michael. Very rarely do you see what you used to see quite often was the closed stance, where the front foot was actually in front of the back foot. Whether you're a left-hander or right-hander hitter, you don't see that very often anymore. It's more of the open variety. Maybe get a better look at what the pitcher's throwing.
Looks like Shaw got something in his eye. They did not want to call time. Finally, Iasonia did.
See him kind of squinting there.
Bobby Mercer used to always tell me, if a lefty's facing a lefty and you have the tendency to bail out, then start wide open, because you can't bail out. You have to move your foot forward in order to get in a place to hit.
You can see his head's fully turned around, so both eyes are on the pitcher.
Swing and a tip into the glove of McCann. One away.
Good pitch from Shreve. Kind of throws across his body anyway. As you can see that he's got his target, the outside corner. And Shaw just got a little bit of it, but certainly not enough.
Now the lefty batter, Brock Holt. Shows bunt, takes inside, 1-0.
So the infielders on the move. You saw Castro headed towards first, Headley headed towards the plate.
We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 2-0 Red Sox lead. Both runs coming on the Mookie Betts double in the 2nd inning. That's it. Otherwise, zeros on the board. Three and 0. And he walked him on 4 pitches.
When you look at the way lineups are constructed by managers, you can almost predict when certain pitchers are going to come in the game. Shreve comes in. It's no accident he's in there this inning. As you watch Kirby Yates warm up in the bullpen, 3 of the 4 hitters scheduled are left-handed hitters. So Joe Girardi knows this before the ball game. When to get Shreve up and when to bring him in. The most optimum time to bring him into the ball game. This is the only right-hander of the 4 hitters.
And a strike to Christian Vasquez. His single in the 2nd extended his hitting streak to 5 straight.
Perfect time for the Red Sox to put a play on Brock Holt, an excellent base runner. Vasquez, your 8-hole hitter.
And John Farrell has to trust Vasquez to make contact, or else he's going to hang Holt out to dry. And when you're running from first on a hit and run, it's not so much about the jump that you get. You're not really trying to steal. You're relying on the hitter to put the ball in play, maybe find a hole, or to chase you to third base. See Vasquez looking down at third base coach Brian Butterfield. He's going through a series of signs. Might not mean anything.
Time you hear the fans doing the wave from the left field foul line to the right field foul line. Now it's in the center field bleachers and up on top of the green monster. Foul back.
Shreve's looking for that ground ball to short.
He goes. Christian Vasquez down on strikes, 2 away.
He really left the strike zone for this one. This was not even close to being a strike. And he does go around too far.
And that brings up Jackie Bradley Jr. He's been on base twice. He doubled and scored in the second, and then he walked in the fourth. That one is lined into right center field. It is a base hit. It splits the outfielders, and it goes to the wall. Holt will score easily. Moving to third is Jackie Bradley Jr. He has an RBI triple, and the Red Sox have a 3-0 lead.
Oh, he mentioned his propensity for the extra base hits, and there's another one. He has a double and a triple tonight, a double last night. This pitch is kind of up in the middle of the plate. That's a pitch you can drive. He gets on top of it and rips it to the gap in right center field. And now it's up to Ellsbury to get in quickly. That's out by the triangle.
Well, Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Shreve departs. Kirby Yates will come on to face Mookie Betts. 3-0 Red Sox. with a runner on third base and 2 men out, and he will face Mookie Betts. So Jackie Bradley Jr. has hurt the Yankees over the first 2 days. And a strike to Betts. 3-0 Red Sox.
All first pitch fastballs too. And you see Kirby Yates on the season, pretty solid. 11 strikeouts in 7 1/3 innings. Jackie Bradley Jr. first came up, he was eyeballing a lot of pitches, trying to get on base percentage, trying to work walks, and when he started getting aggressive, it worked out well.
Didi cannot come up with that ground ball up the middle. That will score Bradley. It'll be a base hit for Betts. It's a 4-0 Red Sox lead.
Kenny, you talked about it in the pregame, playing a clean game.
Yep.
And speed puts pressure on Didi Gregorius there as he rushes through that in a play that he'll tell you after the game that he should have come up with clean. But Betts' speed certainly put pressure on Gregorius to probably rush that play a little bit.
Dustin Pedroia is 0 for 3.
A clean game also applied to Pineda, keeping his pitch count down, and he couldn't do it. So making the plays in the field, throwing the ball to the right bases. And whatever opportunities the Yankees have had tonight, they haven't had all that many. They haven't been able to capitalize offensively.
Off the glove of McCann, scrambles after it.
Ball kind of squirted away, had some, we'll pick a language, English on it, Spanish, whatever. But Betts maintains his position at first base.
Seven hits for the Red Sox, 5 for the Yankees. Red Sox lead 4-0 on a Saturday night in Beantown.
That'll put the second run scored in this inning, an earned run on Chase and Shreve's account. I think the 4-pitch walk really hurt Shreve in this inning.
Runner goes, throw to second. Pretty nice pick there by Castro, but a stolen base.
Betts has not been caught this year. He's now 6-0. He got a decent jump. McCann trying to catch up there. Too good a jump. Nice pick by Castro, as Michael called it. Throw in the dirt. You saw Betts looking out towards center field as if the ball had gotten away. 6 stolen bases without being caught.
That pitch was called a strike, so it's 1-1. Runner at second. One and 2 on Pedroia.
And we had mentioned the Red Sox running more this year. They've got 3 players with 5 or more stolen bases that haven't been caught this year.
In fact, as a team, they've been caught just twice.
Yeah.
When you think about Mookie Betts, it's a triple threat.
Yeah.
He also has 4 home runs. He's got pop, can steal a bag, and play great defense.
And bowl a 300 game.
1-2.
Had another one this winter. His parents introduced him to bowling when he was very young. They used to take him along to the bowling alley.
A long list of great young players in the game today.
Were good bowlers?
No. He's the only good bowler. Think about Bryce Harper on top of that list of young players. Mookie Betts is on that list too.
2-2. 3-2. Betts will stay put at second, 3-2, 2 outs. Castro checking him back. Yates takes a look. Another look. And a foul ball. Johnny Barbado is up. And the 3-2. Missed outside, so Pedroia works a walk. He's on base for the first time tonight. And that brings up Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts 0 for 2 with a walk.
Well, you said it, Michael. I mean, Michael Pineda's pitch count struggles, a lot of deep counts, forced the Yankees into this situation where you have extra outs to get now. And from Shreve through Yates here, now Barbado's warming up.
And a strike to Bogaerts. Another strike, 0-2.
Went from corner to corner, outside corner to inside corner. I think Bogaerts thought this was low.
NYA Sonya's been consistent all night long with the low strike.
And the 0-2. Foul back.
Now, last night we had a sellout here, and it looks to be about the same here tonight. I don't think it's quite as cold tonight as it was last night.
First and second, 2 outs. Missed outside, 1-2. 2 runs already in, and the Red Sox lead 4-0. Well,
there's just no doubt that on that Yankee bench, the 4 runs on the board seem like a lot when you're struggling scoring runs, and on the heels of last night's game.
And once again, the Red Sox scoring with 2 outs.
One-two. And now McCann wants to talk with Kirby Yates. David Ortiz on deck.
One thing leads to another in this game. You know, the pitchers feel the stress, the offense struggling. Conversely, on the other side, the offensive guys start freewheeling it a little bit, feeling like they can let it go and swing the bat when your pitcher's pitching well and you're not having trouble scoring runs like the Red Sox.
That one is chopped to Didi. And that will do it. But the Red Sox add 2 on 2 hits and 2 men left. We go to the 7th, 4-0 Boston. by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram, 4-7-0 for the Red Sox. A lot of zeros for the Yankees, 0-5-0. Pineda lasted 5 innings. Porcello has pitched 6. He's going to start in the 7th. Mookie Betts, 2 for 4, double, 3 ribbies. And Jackie Bradley Jr., 2 for 2, a double, a triple, a ribby, and 2 runs scored. So Brian McCann stepped out as Porcello was about to deliver the first pitch of the 7th inning. So the Yankees are trailing 4-0. Now, one thing that we are not in the habit of doing on this broadcast is put lipstick on a pig. And the Yankees right now are playing dreadful baseball. They look slow. They look tired. They look old. They are not scoring runs, putting pressure on their pitchers, where they know if they give up a run, they're in dire straits. So I don't know what can be done, but this does not look like a very good baseball team right now. Yes, it's early. It's April 30th, but you could dig yourself a hole that it's hard to get out of.
Well, Joe Girardi was talking about it before the game, and he was saying, I don't know when it's going to turn around. You know, of course, you hope for the best every single night, but tonight Rick Porcello's kind of had their number.
And we keep hearing, you know, we're not hitting in good luck. I don't see exit velocity on these balls hit the last 2 nights. I don't think they're hitting in bad luck. They're just not hitting.
I think last night was especially painful because Tanaka was in complete control of that game. And then to see it slip away like that. And on the other end, Henry Owens, a starter, unlike Porcello last night, was on the ropes. He didn't really have very good stuff early in the game. Plenty of opportunity to get to him. No two ways about it, Michael. Last night was really deflating. Now, Rick Porcello's been on a good roll, and he's thrown the ball well tonight, but you've got to, you bring up a great point. The Yankees are 5 games below 500 right now, with including this game, 5 games left on this road trip. Big swings right here. If they stay cold, the next thing you know, on the worst end of it, you could be 10 games under 500 already. Conversely, if you get something going here and come back in this game and win the rest, you could be at 500. So even it's early, a big swing on this early long road trip, this 3-city stop from Texas to Boston to Baltimore.
Yeah, plus you're playing 2 teams within your division.
And it doesn't get easier because you go to Baltimore, then the Red Sox come to Yankee Stadium, then the Royals and the White Sox. So there's not an easy mark in the group, and they have to pick up the way they're playing. And you wonder, do they need a jolt of something? And I think back to 2005 with this Yankee team. End of April, beginning of May, they looked terrible. They looked flat. And all of a sudden you saw a young kid named Robbie Cano and Chien-Ming Wang come up. And the fortunes of that team changed quite a bit. Now, I don't know if there's a Robbie Cano down at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. I don't know if there's a Chien-Ming Wang, but something has to energize this team, because right now it just doesn't look good enough.
We've talked about it in the past and every year, and it will turn around. Yankees have too good of a team, too much talent for it not to turn around. But the problem is, if it doesn't turn around pretty soon, then the hole gets deeper. And then you get closer to 10 games under 500. And then when you do turn it around and you get hot and win a few games, your hot streak is wasted on getting back to 500.
Fly ball center field. Bradley is there for the second out to retire Castro.
And when your hot streak comes, you want it to propel you to 10 games over 500. You want to make hay, as they say. But if the hole gets too deep, then when you do start to play better baseball, and they will, then your hot streak is going to get wasted just getting out of that hole.
It's almost like a horse race when a horse is way back in the pack and he expends a lot of energy to get up to the front, and then he can't push it even further because you start to fall back. The other horses got too much energy for you. But I will caution, it's a long season. And we saw Toronto last year. At one time their record was 50-50, and they ended up with 93 wins. But you'd rather not do it that way.
Also, Kenny, they were 50-50, and then they made
Some
major
moves.
trades.
Yeah, they did.
So they changed the whole dynamic of their team.
What you were saying, it goes back to what you were saying about shaking up the team.
And I'm sure the people that put this team together, the front office and ownership, they did not envision an April like this.
You know, coming out of spring training, they look pretty good to me.
Foul ball off the bat of Gregorius. 2-2, 2 strikes, 2 balls, 2 outs, and it's 4-0. Red Sox top of the 7th. Strike 3. Didi down looking as the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3 against Porcello. It's time for the 7th inning stretch in Boston. 4-0 Red Sox. Did his team need a pep talk? Here's the Yankee manager.
You know, I've encouraged them individually. I've encouraged them as a group. You just kind of, it's a feel that you have, what they need at what time, and you do that.
Do they ever need tough love?
Oh yeah, of course. I've given that too.
Well, you know what? It's an old cliche. There's just so much a manager could do. The team has to hit. He's certainly not in the batter's box, and this is not a team where there's going to be an awful lot of hit and runs and bunts and hitting against the shift. So either they hit or they don't score. Johnny Barbado against David Ortiz, as Girardi again makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Barbado, the 4th Yankee pitcher. Pineda started, Shreve, Yates, and now the young righty. 2-0. 9th game for Johnny. He's pitched well, made the team out of spring training. 12 strikeouts, 10 2/3 innings, 3 walks, 5 hits. Now, you know the Yankees have a reinforcement on the way on May 9th during that Royals series. Yankees will get back Aroldis Chapman, serving a 30-game suspension. violating the domestic violence policy of Major League Baseball, so he'll come back, and that will make the bullpen better. But it's not as if there's any bat that's on the DL that you're waiting to get back. High fly ball, deep right field. Beltran turns, looks, see ya. A home run, David Ortiz, and it's 5-0 Boston. He is savoring every step in this last season as he takes his time around the bases. And gets a big ovation from the crowd at Fenway. Ortiz did not know Barbado before that at bat, and got some information on him when he saw him come to the mound. Chili Davis goes over what to expect from Barbado, and he took that into the batter's box and did that.
Well, Barbado knows him now. Let's put it that way. 5th home run of the year.
Check swing by Hanley Ramirez.
And now he has 16 extra base hits in the early going here. Over the bullpen, into the bleachers.
That's his 49th career regular season home run against the Yankees. One and one.
Certain veteran hitters are so good at setting up pitchers or looking for pitches and guessing. Ortiz, one of the best. Almost looked like he just was sitting fastball, stepping in the bucket. Just dropped the bat head on that pitch. Barbado certainly didn't get it where he wanted to, but it's Chili Davis's style as a hitting coach. Have a plan when you go up there. Look for a pitch, sit on a location, sit on a pitch. Ortiz clearly doing that. And did not miss it when he went.
No, that's the key. Target's low and away. This is kind of going to be towards the middle.
Spinning out of there.
He's hit enough of them to know that was not coming back.
Three and two.
Many a games, many a nights I sat on the back of the plane talking with Chili Davis just about that, about having a plan, having an approach. It's really about scheming. It's not about mechanics. It's not about being a guru with numbers or sabermetrics. It's really about having a plan when you go up to the plate, having a plan when you're on the mound. What's he trying to do?
It's like an educated guess. You know, you're trying to give yourself an edge whether you're hitting or pitching.
That's the place in the game for the baseball guys, the old school teachers, hitters. There's a place in the game for new school guys. There's still a place in the game for old school guys, and it's called scheming. It's called coming up with a plan on how you attack, what to look for, how to anticipate the flow of the game.
There's room for both, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. There should be a balance between both. There should be room for both, because undoubtedly the new school and the big data era has a lot to offer. An evaluation of this game, scouting, performance, defining the luck factor. The human element side still very important.
Now the analytics don't really tell you about the heart within the player. Some guys are just naturally tougher and give you more effort. And this is an ultra competitive game. These guys play this just about every day.
Count 0-2 on Travis Shaw. Travis is 1 for 3 tonight.
You want players and coaches that initiate becoming a student of the game. What are you thinking about? What are you doing? What were you thinking about in that at-bat? Promoting being a student of the game.
And that's off the glove of a diving Headley, and it trickles into center field. Ramirez will go to third. Gardner flips it into second. It's a single for Shaw, and it's first and third, nobody out.
I think one of the plans we've seen from Shaw is going against the shift. We've seen him do it at least twice in this series. And Headley gives it the good effort, but it breaks off his glove, and in doing so, the ball's going to carry him into center field, and Ramirez is going to truck on into third base. It looked like he just guided the ball to that side of the field.
The game is quickly getting away from the Yankees.
Infield is in. And 2-0 to Brock Holt.
I guess to finish that point, Kenny, I think there's a lot of common denominators, more than people realize, between old school and new school. I really do.
Two and one on Holt. Holt with a fly ball to left, ground ball to second, and he walked and scored. Swing and a miss. 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Barbado. Rip foul. It's 5-0 Red Sox, bottom of the 7th, 1 run in. Yankees have the infield in, first and third, still nobody out. And the 2-2 up and away. The count is full. Let's see if they send Shaw at first on 3-2, nobody out. Runner does go, ball fouled away. Tampa Bay ends up beating Toronto tonight 4-3. And Baltimore in the 7th inning leading the White Sox 5-3, and the Orioles sit atop the American League East. So the Tampa Bay win now breaks the tie between Tampa Bay and Toronto. So Toronto drops to 4th. Yankees trying to avoid going 8-14. 3-2. 96 miles an hour foul back.
You can see the other infielders are in, but Didi's hanging back a bit in case there's a swing and a miss. He has to take the throw at second with Shaw on the move.
The Red Sox hitters continue to grind through the Yankee pitching staff. Another 3-2 count.
That time Shaw did not go. And Holt's putting on a tough at bat here, fouling off some tough pitches.
Forced Michael Pineda, the Yankee starter, out after 5 innings, and now chewing through the Yankee bullpen. Still nobody out here. Pitch number 23 coming from Johnny Barbado, which probably takes him out of tomorrow's game at this point. So the residual effect.
Runner goes. Fly ball down the right field line. Fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball. Hovering over the pesky pole, but just foul.
Looked like a slider in that Holt turned on.
John Farrell's going to take a look at this one. It's high over the foul pole. Really difficult to call.
They're going to take a look, but I think the Red Sox are going to be disappointed in this one. Sonia, the home plate umpire, and Alan Porter, who will be behind home plate tomorrow night. They're going to speak to the umpires back in New York, see what they thought about it.
The play under review is brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. Well, the replay we had, it seemed fairly clear that it was foul. That angle looks as if it was certainly foul.
It's almost as if John Farrell says, what the heck, I'll just take a shot here. And
now this angle, a little more uncertain.
The hardest foul pole in the big leagues to call home runs off of. It's so much closer than you think.
It's the only foul pole in the league where the right fielder plays deeper than the foul pole.
This is not a challenge. This is just fair or foul, which is under review. The umpires take a look.
With a little nudge from Farrell to initiate them to do this. Got nothing to lose if you're the Red Sox on this one.
It's named the Pesky Pole, named after Johnny Pesky, who played second base, shortstop, and third base for the Red Sox from 42 to 52, except for 43 to 45 during World War II. And the Red Sox officially named it the Pesky Pole in a pregame ceremony on Johnny Pesky's 87th birthday in 2006. And it was on the right side, which means the foul side of the pesky pole. Interesting point about the pesky pole. The distance from home plate to the right field foul pole was 325 before 1940, when the Sox owner Tom Yawkey reconfigured the dimensions while moving the bullpen from foul territory to right field. And you know why he did that? He did that to help Ted Williams, a rookie in 1939, hit more home runs to right.
It worked.
And Johnny Pesky hit just 17 home runs in his 10-year career, and only 6 at Fenway Park.
Then why they name the pole after him? Did he hit it all 17 times or what?
I don't think so. It's just 302 feet from home plate. Boy, is he putting together an at-bat or what?
Earlier this year, J.J. Hart of the Orioles hit 2 in one game just inside the pesky pole. It's hard enough to do once. He did it twice in a game. They asked him how he did it. He said, well, I've never done it before, but finally filled that column.
A 12-pitch at bat up to this point. And that is knocked down by Castro. One scores, everybody's safe, and it's 6-0 Red Sox.
Well, Brock Holt didn't get the 3 runs batted in, but he got 1. He really earned it in this at bat. Little chopper, and with Castro in, not only had to go in, he had to go back as well on the high hopper, and couldn't keep the ball in his glove. Just knocks it down, and you can see Ramirez score from third. The runners move up, and it's 6-0 Boston. Second base umpire even got in on it, John Payne.
So, Kenny, I have researched it for you why it's called the pesky pole if he didn't hit that many home runs.
I knew you would.
Johnny Pesky said it came from Mel Parnell. He was broadcasting in with Ken Coleman and Ned Martin one night. Someone hit a home run down the line and right around the pole, and Mel started talking about a game that Pesky hit one right around the pole to win it. The game was around 49 or 50. And he said that's really the only time I came close to hitting the pole. So it comes from the broadcaster Mel Parnell, former pitcher.
That was back in the day when the Red Sox thought you could not have a lefty. He was one of their first good left-handed pitchers outside of Babe Ruth.
Fouled away. And what we're seeing right here, and David's right, these games are interconnected. So Nick Goody's now up in the Yankee bullpen. 28 pitches, still nobody out. And what you're doing is you're essentially eliminating Barbato from the game tomorrow night.
Next time you probably see him, it'll be in Baltimore.
I think that's why we saw Larry Rothschild come out for that visit, just to give Goody a chance to get up and get warm, because as far as the pecking order in the bullpen goes, Johnny Barbato's done a good job. He's very valuable to them right now. Certainly don't want to waste bullets at this point in the bottom of the 7th with no outs. Now pitch number 30 coming.
That last play, Holt does not get a hit. It scored an E4. On Castro. Still gets an RBI though. Strike 3. Vasquez down looking.
That was a tough play.
I'm going to make a prediction that's going to be reversed later on.
I think so too.
That's just a horrible call.
I'm not going to change it.
With the infield in.
Well, 30 pitches into the inning, that's going to do it for Barbato. Joe Girardi will take the ball from the right-hander and call on Nick Goody with Jackie Bradley Jr. due up, and the Red Sox leading 6-0. by ChevyOffers.com. There's 9 hits in there, 2 for Betts, 2 for Ortiz, including a solo home run, 2 singles for Shaw. And Jackie Bradley Jr. did some damage so far, 2 for 2, a triple, a double, a ribby, and 2 runs scored. And we'll see Jackie Bradley Jr. right now against Nick Goody, the Yankees' 5th pitcher. This will be his 2nd game. Michael Pineda started, went 5, gave up 2. Chasen Shreve struggled. Kirby Yates struggled a bit. Johnny Barbado. This has been a struggle in the 7th inning. Now Nick Goody in relief of Barbado, who just threw 30 pitches. Red Sox have runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 out. And they lead 6-0. Jackie Bradley Jr. is 2 for 2 with a walk. Ribby and 2 runs scored. And a strike from Goody. One and one. Bradley has his average at 263 now, a home run and 11 runs batted in. Red Sox beat the Braves earlier in the week 1-0, and Jackie Bradley Jr.'s home run was the difference in that game. Big hit yesterday. And now another big hit right there. He rockets one to right field. And trying to cut it off is Beltran. He does before it gets to the wall, but 2 runs will score. Bradley will go to 3rd with a 2-run triple, and it's 8-0 Red Sox. Bradley's 2nd straight triple.
4th of the season. 4th triple of the season. And as Michael said, they were close to breaking it open. This might have done it.
A spinning slider that sat right there in the wheelhouse. That allows Bradley Jr. to get the bat head out and down the line and send Beltran scampering.
Well, if he doesn't get to that ball before it hits the wall, that's probably inside the park home run with Bradley's speed. So the infield is in again with Betts at the plate. 0-1.
Bradley Jr.'s now driven in 3 runs in this game. Betts at the plate is driven in 3. So the outfield driven in 6 runs tonight. This time a stand-up triple.
Count 0-2 on Betts. Betts is 2 for 4. 2-run double in the 2nd. An infield RBI single in the 6th. Nice pick there by McCann, saving a run.
Spinning slider in the dirt, off the heel, off the chest protector, and into the right hand. Little pinball.
Probably the only chance he had on that. There's no way that pitch that wide off the plate. You can't get over and block it.
Two and 2 on Mookie Betts. 8-0 Red Sox. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning here at Fenway Park.
Common theme, another deep count here as the Red Sox continue top to bottom in the lineup of grinding out at bats.
3-2.
It's now the 13th three ball count and the 12th full count of the night for the Red Sox lineup collectively.
Robbie Ross is up. Swing and a miss. Goody strikes out Betts for the 2nd out.
Good slider down and away. Well placed. And Betts with the swing and miss.
That brings up Dustin Pedroia. Dustin's 0 for 3 with a walk. Missed outside, 1-1. 2 in the second for the Red Sox, 2 in the sixth, 4 in the seventh, and the Red Sox still batting here in the seventh. Second game of a 3-game set. Tough loss for the Yankees last night, 4-2. The series finale is tomorrow night. And the Yankees have Monday off before a 3-game set at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. One and two.
This is now in Dustin Pedroia's career, the 131st game he's played against the Yankees in his career. He's had some injuries, as Michael noted, but has played well. He came into this game with a .302 career batting average in those 130 games.
Xander Bogaerts still looking for the crack in that bat.
It's covered in pine tar. Sometimes it's hard to find when you got that much pine tar on the bat.
One and two on Pedroia. Did he go? Yes, he did. So a strikeout of Pedroia, but not before. The Red Sox score 4 more runs here at the bottom of the 7th inning. It's a game that's getting away from the Yankees. It might have gotten away. Hey, our next Picks telecast will be Sunday, May 15th, when the Yankees meet the Chicago White Sox. That'll be live from Yankee Stadium. Coverage will begin at 1 p.m. right here on New York's home for baseball. Picks 11. All right, so we go to the 8th inning. We'll take a look at the line score brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. All Red Sox 8-10-0, leading 0-5-1 as we take it to the 8th inning. New second baseman is Marco Hernandez as they give Pedroia the rest of the day off. And the new pitcher is Robbie Ross Jr. And he will face Chase Headley. And there's a strike.
On the year, 10 innings pitched.
Up the middle and booted by Hernandez. So Headley will reach on the E4.
Tested right away. In and out of the glove. No chance now to get Headley.
The boos are for Jacoby Ellsbury, who left the Red Sox to sign a free agent contract with the Yankees.
They are signaling to Hanley Ramirez to play behind the runner with an 8-0 lead.
Sellout crowd of 37,901 here at Fenway, but the 4 runs in the 7th have caused many to head to the exits. Get an early start. So Headley leads off first. And it's 1-2 on Ellsbury, who's 0 for 3. Rick Porcello pitched very well today. 7 shutout innings against the Yankees as he's poised to go 5-0.
He didn't win his 5th game last year until July the 8th.
And Ellsbury swings and misses with a tip into the glove of Vasquez. So Ellsbury's 0 for 4.
Last year, Porcello went 9-15. But he is way ahead of last year's pace.
The unique situation for him is his current general manager was the former general manager who traded him. Obviously, it was Ben Cherington, the previous general manager here in Boston, that signed Porcello to that 4-year, $80 million deal. And now all of a sudden Dave Dombrowski inherits that deal, and Porcello living up to it. Good early returns this year as he seems to be back and throwing the ball very well.
And it helps the Red Sox because the way Buchholz is pitching, they look at him as the guy slotting right behind David Price. Now it's Porcello as Buchholz continues to struggle.
It's interesting you mentioned Dave Dombrowski again, and he's been general manager of several teams, and not only here in Boston but Detroit prior to here, Miami, and also started with the Montreal Expos. And back in the day, Montreal was sort of like a training ground for young general managers who had to work on a very limited budget, and then they would you know, earn their stripes, so to speak, and then move on to better teams.
Smart man. You know, when I was a free agent in 1992, I went to visit him in Miami. He took me right out to South Beach. He did his homework on me. He knew exactly where to go.
Boy, they must have really lowballed you if you didn't sign there.
It was tempting. That's when Ewing Kauffman offered me a nice deal to go back home to Kansas City. So
the thing about Montreal in those days, as I said, general managers would move on from there to better place. Dan Duquette moved on. Kevin Malone moved on.
3-2 on Gardner.
Put it this way, Dave Dombrowski's a good salesman. He knows what he's doing.
Well, he's a good general manager too.
Tap slowly to short. They'll get one. That's all they'll get.
When Dave Dombrowski first came into baseball, one of his first jobs was working for the Chicago White Sox, and he worked for General Manager Roland Heeman. And Roland Heeman gave him an assignment that he thought, you know, he'll get it. It'll take him a week to do it, week and a half. Told him to take his time. He brought it in the next morning. It was all done.
There's Aaron Hicks. So we'll see Hicks after he had injured his shoulder, diving for a ball at Yankee Stadium. He has pinch run since that time, but this will be his first at bat as he will pinch hit for Carlos Beltran. So they give the veteran the rest of the night off. And Hicks is probably going to play tomorrow against David Price.
This is sort of like a warm-up for him.
Yankees gambled that they would not have to play without Hicks and A-Rod for 15 days, and they won that gamble. A-Rod had the big night in Texas, and then the home run yesterday, and now Hicks has been out a little bit longer and is pinch hitting for Beltran. Yankees still looking for him to be the guy with the big OPS numbers against left-handed pitchers. They love him from the right side. There's a ground ball to Bogaerts, charges and fires, and that will do it here in the 8th. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 man left. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer. Hurry into your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2016 models. By NYU Langone Medical Center, made for New York. And by M&T Bank. What's important to you is important to us at M&T Bank. Learn more at mtb.com/meetus. So we've got some changes here as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dustin Ackley takes over at first. Austin Romine behind the plate. Hicks remains in right. And Nick Goody's still on the mound. And Xander Bogaerts hits one in the hole. Off the glove of a diving Didi into left field. A base hit for Bogaerts, his first of the night. And now the Yankees are going to look at their former teammate Chris Young, who will pinch hit for David Ortiz. So this is quickly turned into a spring training matchup.
could sense the frustration, obviously. Yankees throughout the bench, the life, the energy. Deflating loss last night, carried over tonight. And it really, there's a domino effect all the way, even in the broadcast booth. You know, I'm worried about John Sterling. He's a guy who makes his living off of home run calls. Poor guy over here, starved.
1-1. Here's John.
Well, nobody likes to deliver bad news. Let's put it that way.
And the count 1-2 on Chris Young. Chris Young had such a good season for the Yankees last year, became a free agent, signed a nice deal with the Red Sox, and the Yankees feel they replaced what he did in on their roster with Aaron Hicks.
Hicks is a younger player.
And a switch hitter.
A switch hitter, and I think a better outfielder. If you play all three positions, you got a rocket for an arm.
Yeah, and a higher upside. And of course, you could sense with Brian Cashman trying to get younger, trying to get more athletic.
Popped up, shallow left. Gregorius is there to put it away for the first out. Junichi Tazawa getting ready to pitch tonight with the Red Sox up 8-0. Here's Hanley Ramirez. Hanley's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. And a strike from Goody.
You know, in the course of a long season, there are certain times you want to play a team, and there are certain times you don't want to play. And right now is the time for everybody to be playing the Yankees. But as the season goes along, that has a tendency to change.
Michael, having been on both sides of this rivalry, the Yankees and Red Sox, the history, nature of the history, just something that goes on in Boston. They just love to beat the Yankees, maybe a little more than vice versa. Yankees, everywhere they go, everybody wants to beat the Yankees. Yankees play that role throughout the league. But Boston, well, there's something just a little special about games like tonight for the Boston fans, the hardcore locals. Last night's game especially, the comeback.
Yeah, you and I were sitting and talking, and the gentleman across from us was going over the game. He was saying, oh, and Big Papi hit the home run and all this sort of thing, and you could see the enjoyment he had in just making that statement because it was against the Yankees. I felt like saying, hey, it's a long season.
Red Sox continuing to foul off 2 strike pitches. And Nick Goody's pitch count at 25.
And that's not to say that the Yankee fans don't love beating the Red Sox. It's not what I'm saying, but there's just a little different dynamic, even in the front office. And Larry Lucchino, who's been here for years, is one of the top executives and has since kind of stepped down, dubbed the Yankees the evil empire. And the t-shirts around town, you see Red Sox Nation, and Randy Levine of the Yankees countered with Yankee Universe and their t-shirts to raise money for charity. It's been back and forth.
And watching the weather here locally, then even the weather person said the evil empire's in town.
3-2. A base hit to left field for Hanley Ramirez. Bogarts moves to second.
Red Sox starter without a hit. He's now out of the game, Dustin Pedroia. But he did draw a walk. He did get on base.
Pinch runner for Ramirez. Josh Rutledge takes over. And that'll bring up Travis Shaw, first and second. One man out, bottom of the 8th inning. It's 8-0 Red Sox. Oh, 0-1. Nick Goody would be well served maybe to get himself a double play ball, because if he finishes this inning with 35-40 pitches, he could be in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, not because he did poorly, but because the Yankees are going to need another arm for tomorrow.
It's a great point, and we've seen it over the last couple of years in the Scranton shuttle.
You get the feeling that call's already been made. And primarily because Barbado threw a lot of pitches too, so they're going to need somebody.
The matchup tomorrow is David Price against Nathan Eovaldi. Eovaldi flirted with a no-hitter his last start in Arlington. Two and two.
You get into search mode, you know, when you're in the Yankees clubhouse. You know, you can have a manager call a team meeting. Joe Torre. You could yell and scream at players. Go back to the George Steinbrenner era where heads will roll. Hell, there's going to be hell to be paid here. And then you try different approaches, psychological, players picking each other up.
If you listen to Joe Girardi's pregame press conferences today, was in the dugout, you can tell he's getting tired of answering the same questions.
It wears on you, the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Beats you down psychologically, even though it is early in the season. I remember a team meeting we had with Joe Torre one year where a lot of the pitchers weren't on the bench, and position players and pitchers started to go at it.
Swing and a miss. Shaw down on strikes.
I can recall a meeting that Earl Weaver had. We lost a few in a row, and he was getting upset at the team. He called a meeting, and well, he dressed us down. He just gave it to us. And one of the things he said was, "Wait a minute." He said, "This is all my fault." And everybody perked up a little bit. He says, "I picked you guys. I thought you could win." He started winning after that.
A little reverse psychology.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, there's a time to get angry. There's a time to get embarrassed. There's a time for support.
Well, this is an embarrassing loss. This one. Last night was just a tough loss.
It's a time to get mad when you're getting embarrassed.
Ground ball left side and through for a base hit. Bogarts rounds third. He'll stop right there as the throw comes in to Romine. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs as Holt picks up a single.
Well, the base hit, and of course the left fielders here at Fenway Park play a lot closer. Gardner has a strong arm, and with an 8-0 lead, you're not sending the runner home to have a bang play at home plate and get somebody hurt. So they're going to hold Bogarts at third, and the bases are loaded.
Now, guys, I had the opportunity to cover the Yankees as a newspaper writer when Billy Martin was the manager, and his favorite move was the table flip, and the spread went all over the clubhouse floor. Did you guys ever experience that?
Oh yes, absolutely. Hal McRae did that when he was the manager of the Royals. That was an old school move. Nobody's eating tonight. You shouldn't be hungry. You didn't score any runs.
Lou Piniella did that too.
Gene Mock did it when I was in Montreal. I was hungry too.
Fly ball right field. Hicks is there, and that'll do it here in the 8th. No runs, 3 hits, and the bases are left loaded. We go to the 9th. 8-0 Red Sox. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Modell's, your fan gear headquarters. Come on, Bronx Farmer fans, you gotta go to Moe's. By Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. And by Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. We go to the 9th inning on a Saturday night in Boston, and it's been all Red Sox as they lead 8-0. Junichi Tazawa is the new pitcher for the Red Sox. Porcello went 7 scoreless. Robbie Ross Jr. pitched the 8th, and now Tazawa will come in to try to get the final 3 outs of the 9th. So Rutledge takes over third. Shaw moves from third to first, taking over for Ramirez. Romine will lead off. That one's fouled away. Romine's gotten off to a nice start. playing sparingly as the backup catcher. He won the job in spring training, showing a much better bat than he had previously, sitting .313 with 1 ribby, and does a very nice job handling the pitchers behind the plate. They like the way he calls the game.
He was behind the plate during Evaldi's game in Texas.
He deserves a lot of credit for the mix and the type of game that Evaldi threw.
Just missed outside. A little bit of a barn burner in Baltimore. The White Sox are up 7-5. The Orioles have tied it. It's 7-7. Still batting in the 8th inning. Strike 3, Romine down looking. So the 4th spot, the cleanup spot in the Yankee order, is 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts tonight.
Well, we're looking at right now, Michael, and here in the 9th inning, over 3.5 hours in the game. Long game by today's standards. Yankees only have 5 hits, so the majority of that was with the Red Sox hitting.
Men on base.
There's Ronald Torreyes pinch hitting for A-Rod.
Fans are probably booing the fact they don't get a chance to boo A-Rod one more time tonight.
There's a strike.
Zawa's got that little hesitation before he delivers. Now you had a little hesitation, Cody. It wasn't quite as pronounced as Tazawa's, but there was a little hitch in the get along there.
Yeah, at times. Absolutely. Anything to throw up the timing, deception. Tazawa's a big part of this bullpen. He's in just to keep the work, to keep sharp, because normally he would not be in this game.
Ground ball to Bogarts. And the Yankees are down to their final out on this Saturday night. And it's going to be Dustin Ackley, who tries to keep the game alive. Eight-0 Red Sox, top of the 9th inning. Strike on the outside corner.
You know, all the talk, Michael, what to do, team meetings, this and that. There's only one way out of it, and that is for the Yankees to get out there tomorrow and bat around. It's the only way to loosen a team up that's tight and pressing. And without a doubt, the Yankees are tight and pressing, whether they would admit it or not. But that's what's happening. Collectively, there's a conscience going on. The only way out of it is not a team meeting. It's not anybody yelling or screaming. It's got to be done on the field. It's got to be somebody leads and somebody follows. And a lot of good at-bats. You start hitting line drives all over the field, you start knocking the ball out of the ballpark, and that's the only thing that's going to solve this.
And now you have to do that against David Price.
You got to do that against David Price.
You know what?
If it's not Price, then you got to come back at Baltimore.
They've done it before when it was in Detroit last year.
Somebody's got to take the initiative.
This should do it. Ground ball to second. Ackley is done. The Yankees are done as they lose this one 8-0. They managed just 5 hits. Their offense continues to sputter. Almost stalled completely. Rick Porcello shuts them down. So after a tough loss last night, this was just an embarrassing loss tonight. They never really in it after the Red Sox scored the 2 in the second. We have more to come.